This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, gone.
Go Hayes! Gets a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, once again, no Chris Townsend. Tony will be back on Thursday, I want to say.
That's right.
Thursday we'll be back on television.
Yeah.
And then he'll be back Friday as well on television. And we'll be back. Tony will be back on A's Cast Live. I think it's Monday we'll be back. So Tony's enjoying a nice vacation in Hawaii. Can't complain. Nice little setup for him in Maui. I found out what island. He's in Maui.
Nice.
So that's when Tony will be back. But right now it's Commander Cody, Johnny Doskow, and Ray Jensen with you for the next hour and a half before A's and Rays here from the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Rays first base coach Chris Prieto is going to join us in moments. We're going to have Sam Long, the A's now closer, former opener. I don't know if he had the title of closer. And then we're going to have BA Brian Anderson from the Rays television broadcast World Series champion with the Diamondbacks joining us at 5 o'clock.
All right.
Big win last night for the A's.
Great win for the A's last night. And look, Caprillion was solid. And look, they found a way. And I think this team, you compare how they played the Rays yesterday compared to those three games. And I know we're going to go back to those games where you're outscored 31-5, but just to see what the A's were able to do in that game last night, just finding a way. It was, and look, Ken Waldichuk deserves a ton of credit. He just had it in his eyes. He wanted to finish that game, and there was no one better suited last night. He crushed it.
Yeah, Ray, what your thought? I mean, we all said the same thing. We thought Waldichuk was the biggest story of the game last night, the 3 scoreless innings to get a save. What's that stat? He was the first A's pitcher. Well, I have it here somewhere. I have somebody knows. First A's pitcher to toss 3 or more scoreless innings for a save in a 1-run game since Elias Sosa in 1978. Johnny, Ray, and I weren't even afterthoughts then, or in our parents' minds. Where were you in 1978?
1970. I was at El Roble Intermediate School. I was in 7th grade, and I was just trying to. I moved to a new school, so I was 12, a little, shy and awkward, and just trying to find a way to just get through the day. I wasn't. I was a little guy with not a ton of confidence, so I tried to get through that 7th grade year.
Ray, you were born how many years later after that?
At least 15.
Yeah, it's 10 for me. So when Johnny was, I heard Ken mention on the broadcast yesterday when his first time he went to Hawaii with his family, those right after the airplane was invented. I thought that was a great one-liner by Ken, the Hall of Famer Ken Korak.
Outstanding.
Real quick before we go off on talking about the A's and the Rays tonight, game 2, we're aware of what happened in Las Vegas. We're not going to talk about it. That's not what we do. I mean, that's not our show. I mean, I know Townie does, but that's not what we're going to do. And if you're coming to tonight, we know what's going on tonight. If you're coming tonight, take Bart. That's all we're going to say. We know what's happening. I mean, we're not naive to the situation, but we're not here to talk about that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and just let everyone know that we're here to focus on the A's and Rays. The A's 6-game winning streak. The Rays are in, still the best team in baseball. So I'm looking forward to game 2 tonight, and it should be a great atmosphere. I'll say that.
Hey, when do we get the Piano Man on? When is Prieto coming on?
We can do it. We can do it right now.
Let's get you on right
Ray,
now. Let's do it right now.
You got to vacate your spot.
All right.
Yeah, I want to talk to the Piano Man right now. Gosh, how long? By the way,
great to see you, man.
Great to see you too, man.
Yeah.
God, I'm good, man. It's so good to see you. What?
You know how funny you are?
What's that? Hey, so when was the last time I saw you? By the way, 20 years,
2003,
right?
Sacramento
20
River
years, man. 20 years since he was. When I was broadcasting for the River Cats in 2003. The Piano Man was roaming center field and not make an error the entire year. People say, why do you call him?
I remember that.
I remember it, man. You played a great center field, and people say, why do you call him the Piano Man? Well, he plays piano. That's what basically, Are you still?
I play not as much now. But
okay.
I still love playing piano. Yeah, for sure. I like your hat, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's a nice
Thank
little
you.
look there.
Thank you.
I see.
We got Hey, I got to tell you, this guy, man, we had some great times, and we had great times on those Southwest commercial flights.
Oh,
We just
man.
had a great time. It's so good to see you, and it's amazing how the time goes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
tell me about how you're doing. I know you finished your career and then got into. Did you get into coaching right away?
Relatively speaking, I went home, spent a little time at home for a year and a half, and
Yeah.
then got back into coaching with the Padres. Did some hitting coach, was a hitting coach a couple years. Then I managed in Seattle in the Appalachian League, and then was lucky enough to land a big league job the year after that in Seattle.
Yeah.
Did the replay for 3 years, ended up coaching first, coaching third,
Yeah.
and here I am.
How
with
was
the Rays.
how was being the replay guy? That's a stressful job, right?
It's stressful. I made sure that I had my flip flops on and was very relaxed, because it could be very like.
Yeah.
And back then, now you don't have any players over your shoulder yelling and screaming at you. Back then, it was just 4 guys going, challenge it, dude, you got to challenge that, So it was a little more difficult. Now you're kind of secluded in a room. Nobody's allowed to talk to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the phone was constantly. We were calling the dugout back and forth, constantly going there. So
Well, you
now
think
it's different.
more stressful now or less stressful now? I guess in some ways probably more.
Coaching first.
No, replay.
Replay probably a little more stressful now,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
It's we had 30 seconds. I think it's a lot less now. You got to be on top of it now. We had a little more cushion.
So you started you coached with the Mariners and
Mhm.
and obviously enjoyed the great Northwest up there. Isn't that special up there?
Yeah, I love the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And are you still in Northern Cal in the off season?
No,
or?
so we moved to Arizona.
Okay.
Probably about 8-9 years ago. We live in Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
And
love it.
This is your second year first base coach with the Rays, correct?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
second year.
This team is something else, man. I mean,
Yes.
it's just I know you do some instruction too, but this team, it just seems like pitching and defense. And that was one thing that Andy Freed said yesterday. He was talking about one thing that's underrated about this club is the defense. I mean, this team up the middle and on the corners.
Very athletic, very athletic team. I try to stay out of their way. I don't say too much to them, but yeah, it's fun to watch them play. Just great all around athletes and super instinctive.
Your shortstop has been so impressive. What can you tell us about Wander and just kind of his approach and watching him on a daily basis?
Just super skilled player. Defense is great. Bat to ball skills unbelievable. I mean, he can hit any pitch, uses the whole field. Just electric player.
Yeah, and it seems like the Rays. I mean, with all the pitching, and you had a couple pitchers go down. Here you have Bradley come up, and that the way the farm system, the way they develop pitchers is kind of unique, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team depth, you can't have enough depth,
right?
And we tend to cultivate good pitchers, and they do a great job in the minor league system. And Snides does an awesome job here. We just keep producing.
We're going to see Taj Bradley this series. What can you tell us about him? I know he's 22 years old. He's been kind of up and down, but apparently, just from what I've read and people I've talked to, he handles the demotion. And it's been a couple times pretty well, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's older beyond his years. He's got a really good fastball. He knows what he's learning how to pitch. But he really knows how to use his fastball. It's a top of the zone fastball with a really good breaking ball, and he's been really good so far.
The team's 28 games over 500, and now you add Glasnow. It's amazing. I'm sure it's almost like getting someone at the deadline, right? You get your guy, and he's coming back, and we'll talk about McClanahan in a moment. What can you tell us about Tyler coming back here?
I mean, he's a much needed piece of the puzzle, and we're so glad to have him back. He talk about electric pitcher. I mean, it's just fun to watch him go out on the mound and just let it rip, every 5 days.
No question. And McClanahan, I mean, he just the confidence he has right now in his stuff. What can you say about him?
I mean, we always knew he had a fastball, pretty decent spin on his breaking ball, but I until I really started watching him, I did not realize how good his changeup was. His changeup is is really, really good, especially off his fastball and when you're throwing 98, 99 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But just the whole package, just really good pitcher, man. I mean,
Yeah.
what else you can say about
10
him?
wins, and he's just absolutely dominant. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, it's amazing. This club, look, you guys played Texas, played them tough, won 2 out of 3. That's a really good club over there, isn't it?
Man, they can hit. They have that's a really strong lineup. Put our pitchers to the test, but we play really good at home. We like playing at our ballpark, and it was nice to get back from our last road trip, get back home, get things rolling again.
Yeah, 31-7. I mean, that's look, baseball's a 60-40 game. For you to play that kind of baseball at home in front of those fans, what is it about playing at the home ballpark?
I don't know, but for me personally, I stay in St. Pete Beach. It's beautiful weather. You're on the beach. You just get into this like relaxed. Once you get back into Florida, you just kind of relax and just let things loose. And you're like, man, I'm going to go put my feet on the beach and spend the morning and have some coffee. And I think everybody just relaxes a little bit there. They just enjoy that environment.
Well, I know you're not. I know you love the charter flights. I know that because we took plenty of Southwest flights together.
Goodness. The stories we could tell. The stories we could tell. Oh, man.
We had a good time, man.
Yes, we did.
We had a good time. And we were able to avoid a lot of times like what we would do because we didn't want anybody sitting in the middle seat. He'd be on Chris be on the window and I'd be on the aisle, and we would act like we're talking so no one would sit there. But everybody.
Do you remember the newspaper, the sports section? You were acting like we didn't know each other. You're like, hey, sir, can you give me the sports section when you're done? And there's the guy in the middle, and he's just getting annoyed by you asking. And I'm like, hey, I'll give it to you in a second.
Yeah. Then he finally snapped.
Give
him the paper. It's the greatest.
Oh my god. The role plays, man.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. We did Fit-In Guy. It was great, man. We had a good time, man. Now here we are 20 years later.
20 years later. But you every year you were a staple in Sacramento, and I think you were a big part of all those winning teams just because of your personality and your I do know for sure.
Well, I was there a long time, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was there a long time. I mean, 22 years. It's crazy, man. Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm glad you got a little taste of big leagues with the Angels, right?
I did.
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah. Should have been called up, I thought, before that, man. You had a great run there.
Mentally I agree with you, but man, once I got there, I was like, man, I'm really not as good as I think I am.
You start to realize how talented these guys
see how
are.
Good everyone is around here. I'm just grateful to be able to coach these guys.
Yeah, you're in the league,
give
man.
them a little bit of nuggets here and there.
Yeah. So what else? You're first base coach. What kind of instruction? What else? Do
the base run in the outfield. Yeah. So at first base, maybe just give them a couple things here and there for stealing bases. But for the most part, I stay out of their way. I just, they're super instinctive, really good athletes. But every now and then they ask questions. They want to know. They're great group.
Okay, so from an outside, so watching Ruiz from someone from the outside, watching him track that ball down. I know you've heard about it, but what were your impressions and what were the guys saying in your dugout?
Well, I mean, I thought he had no shot at catching that ball, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere. I thought Rayleigh did a great job of staying on him because a lot of guys would just put their head down, just keep on running.
No doubt.
So I'm happy he kept his eye on him just to make sure. And luckily he got back. But,
ended up being a really close. So at that point you're yelling back right
as
loud as you can.
Get out.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was crazy. Well, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Rays down the stretch. If the Rays stay healthy, I think that watching the Rays and Rangers, I kept a close eye on that series. That very much could be a preview. It's not. I mean, obviously, pretty easy to say that it could be. That could be the ALCS, but I think you guys match up well with that club.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, our division in itself, Baltimore has really shown that they belong in the division, and they're playing really well. And you can't take any team, Yankees, anybody lightly. So a lot of season left. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I asked Andy. I'd like to talk about Randy Arozarena because I just think he's a treat to watch. And I know people with his antics sometimes, but he just enjoys the game. The guy came from nothing, came from Cuba, came from nothing, and I just can you, from your perspective?
I mean, he feeds off the fans. I mean, he loves the fan interaction. I mean, the guy's super generous. I have a bag of balls that I have to slap his hand to stop giving them away because we're out of 24 balls within the first 3 or 4 innings because he's so generous with just trying to please the fans. He loves this game. The antics, whatever, but I've really learned to love his energy and just who he is as a person. And we enjoy, getting some work done, trying to get better, but he's an awesome dude.
And I think Kevin Cash, it just seems to me it's difficult for you guys to put a lineup out there when every single guy offensively could start, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they would start on most teams.
Yeah.
So I think kind of mixing and matching and because look, coming off that bench, you're always going to have a solid guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think typically we have a right-handed and a left-handed lineup, right? Like, versus the right-handed or the left-handed pitching. But for the most part, you're right. I mean, we can just make a lineup out every day, but just it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
It's just having the depth on the bench and guys that can come in late and pinch hit. Especially like a team like the A's they're splitting the bullpen with lefties and righties. So a lot of teams don't have that many lefties, but
Taylor Walls, a guy that he could play all over the place. He plays a good short. We saw he played a good short yesterday. What are your opinion on him?
Oh man, I mean, there's the question is who's better, Wander or Walls, right? That's a tough question. I mean, Walls is so talented too. You can put him anywhere. He's really, really good. Obviously, he can play short. He plays third. You could probably put him in the outfield. He'd probably do really, really good out there too. He's such a good defender.
One more for you, because you've been there. I've seen you play, and now we're talking about the rule changes and everything. Mm-hmm. Are you for them? Do you think it's made the game more exciting with the shift and the pitch timer? Where do you stand on all?
I mean, I love the quicker games.
Yeah.
I mean, you get in and get the games going, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of you just getting that dead time out of there, and now guys are kind of like those 15 seconds are critical in between pitches. You got to get your mind right. You got to get back to competing, and I think the league is adjusted to that, and I think it's here to stay. I would think.
Did your pitchers make a pretty quick adjustment to it?
Most. There are some that still struggle with it a little bit. Rightly so, right? They've been doing something their whole life,
right,
accustomed to working on a certain tempo. But for the most part, I think everyone's kind of getting much, much better than at the beginning of the season.
You look the same, man.
Do I?
Yeah, you look the same.
I don't feel the same.
You do, man.
Well, I feel the same about you as
50,
well.
50, right?
50 years old.
72, I think October something, 72.
August, but
August.
yeah,
Gosh,
yeah.
August 24th, right?
24th. There you go. Got it.
Thanks, brother. So good to see you.
Awesome to see you,
the
man.
Piano Man.
I'm so happy to
Chris
see you.
Prieto, the Piano Man, in the big leagues with the Rays. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
It.
All right. That was Chris Prieto. We'll have more after this.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com, nestbetting.com. That's nestbetting.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Betting, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together. Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today. What's the material? Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Series 2 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
When Northern California businesses need some pop in their lineup, they call the bank rooted in the East Bay, Mechanics Bank. Since 1905, Mechanics Bank has been helping Bay Area and Northern California businesses find success and perform at the top of their game. See how they can make a difference in your business today. Call or stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
We are right in the middle of major season on the PGA Tour. Hey, those guys are good, but it won't stop you from having a great golf outing at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Just a short drive south of fast-paced Silicon Valley, the 27 holes of championship golf will give you and your friends a full day of enjoyment. Plus, a great 19th hole experience awaits at the grill. Not only golf, but Cinnabar Hills is ready to provide a first-class experience for any event. Learn more at CinnabarHills.com, CinnabarHills.com.
A's Cast Live continues from Rickey Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
Again, no Chris Townsend, back later this week. He's in Maui enjoying a nice vacation with his family. Well-deserved vacation.
For sure.
I don't know, Johnny, you deserve a vacation, too, with all the work you've been doing this year.
October, I'll take it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We won't go there.
October,
but I'll take a vacation then, too. My wife wants to go to my sister-in-law wants to go to Greece for her 30th birthday. I'm like, that's kind of we just went to Iceland last year. I don't know if I need to go on another destination vacation. But we'll see. But quick reminder, anyone coming to the game tonight, we know what's going on tonight. Take public transit. We got a K-pop concert next door at Oracle, and what we call the Oakland Arena now. I don't think it has a spot name anymore. So please remember, there's going to be a lot of cars in the parking lot, so take public transit if you can for tonight's game at 6:40. But this is a dream for me tonight. Haven't seen it a lot very often, but the opener. Both teams using the opener tonight. This is very exciting for me. Get to see Jalen Beeks versus Fuji. And we're going to have Sam Long, a guy that used to be an opener for the Giants, now closing games. It's funny. full on Liam Hendricks, full circle, will be joining us after BP. But the opener tonight, Johnny, do you like the opener? Do you think it works still?
I got a love-hate with it. I think it does work sometimes. I wasn't a huge fan at first. I'm coming around on it. I think it helps, but I do think it can mess with the guy's routine. It can mess with the starting pitcher routine when he's not used to it, but so I'm kind of hit and miss with it, not to avoid the question, but I just have you liked it from the get-go?
Yeah, ever since Sergio Romo started it in 2018 with the Rays, and then it was our good friend Ryan Stanek, friend of the program, now Astros World Series champion, did it. We saw Liam Hendricks do it with the A's. We've seen multiple guys do it. Jalen Beeks is already doing it. This will be the 7th time he's been the opener tonight.
Yeah.
The former Red Sox prospect now being the opener. 25th appearance, 7 start as the opener. The Giants utilize it still to this day. They're still using it with different guys like John Brebbia is the new opener around baseball. I mean, he's starting all the time for them. I think he's going to start again this week.
Yeah.
I do like it. I think it works because we know how the game is now. We're not having the guy from Quinn Matthews throwing 156 pitches anymore. So we're going to see these guys go through the order for a 3rd time, and I think it helps so they don't have to face the top of the order to start the game. Come in maybe at the 5th or 6th. Well, you want your guy to go through the first 3 batters quickly. When they first started the strategy, I thought it was supposed to be like the first 2 innings. That way you can bring the guy in the face to bottom of the order to go through, reaching the top again. But it's all now we've seen more and more. It's just 1 inning. So, yes, I do like it. Ray, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like it because it gives a soft landing spot for these pitchers, and especially with the staff the A's have is so young. I think the easier and simpler you can make it for them, the better. And then eventually they'll grow from there. It's kind of like the way I equate it to, it's like training wheels on a bike. Eventually you got to take the training wheels off and see if you can sink or swim. And I think eventually that'll be needed for some of these young guys to go out there and start these games. But what I've seen from them is impressive. And I think this is the right landing spot especially for Fuji, when we've just been trying to find a role for him somewhere if that arm he has, it can be electric.
It can be, no question. And, look, Fuji, we've seen him in 1-minute rolls seeing him in 1-inning rolls where he can get it done, but he has struggled too, the opener backfires if they allow 2 or 3 runs, right? That's the one thing.
Yeah, and we saw him pitch well in Milwaukee. Great inning. It was the 9th inning when the game was tied. Pitch well. Next game comes and walks the guy. So you're trying to find the spot for him. So him opening today for Hogan Harris, who since that, how can we put it, horrendous MLB debut, and he's grown from that, getting demoted back to AAA, now getting called back up, getting his first win. I think for someone like Hogan Harris, who doesn't have a lot of innings, I read this, since the canceled 2020 minor league season, his Tommy John surgery, he has just 174 2/3 career professional innings between the minors and majors. So he doesn't have a lot of innings pitched between both levels in the minor. So I think getting him more chances to get through a game and not face the top order is a good way to get a young pitcher like Hogan Harris started against a really talented and very good, we know how good they are, Rays lineup.
Well, he had his first start the other day, and he was able to get the win. But, yeah, he's going to be the opener. He's going to see an opener in Fuji and see what he can do after that. I'm looking forward to seeing this start for Hogan Harris because he's found a way. Look, he's the guy who struggled to kind of throw the ball over the plate. He's found the zone. You know what I mean? He's throwing strikes now, and that's the key. He's pounding the zone, and he's been more aggressive, and he's been more confident, since that second appearance.
Yeah, and in the 15 innings since he's been recalled, he's given up 5 runs. It's a 3 ERA. So hopefully you can see him grow. The guy pitching tonight for the Rays, though, Yanni Chirinos, he's pretty used to being the bulk guy behind these Rays openers.
Yes,
him pitching tonight, he gave up 1 run in his last 5 2/3, and he earned a win last Thursday against the Twins. By the way, Twins, I'm not doing a Twins. The AL Central is just a mess. Not to go too far. The AL Central, I mean, if the A's were in the AL West, or the AL Central, they would be like 10 games out of first place. That's just how bad that division is right now. But yeah, I'm hoping to see Harris pitch well, and then you're going to see what Chirinos. He's a good guy to model if you're a guy coming out, because I know the Giants are doing it more with Sean Manaea now. He's more of a bulk guy, which is crazy to think. But yeah, I'm interested to see how some of these guys do against the opener and how they respond, especially Hogan Harris. Because the second time now we've used the opener with him on the mound, 3rd. Mm-hmm. So I like the upside for him. I told Tony before the season started, I thought Hogan Harris could be a guy to watch coming into the year. And after the first one, I was like, the debut, I'm like, okay, maybe not. He came back and he's pitched great since then.
Actually, you might be right on the 2. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, and he's just got that laid back demeanor as we talk about, and he said he talked about this club and the confidence that they have right now in that clubhouse, and I know we can talk about till we're blue in the face, but to win 6 in a row after what this team endured at the start of the year is pretty impressive.
Yeah, you have to give them credit to what they've done so far, because especially they're facing teams all currently above 500. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The teams they are facing are quality, and they're just trying to chase to not be the worst record in baseball right now. I think that's the realistic goal for this team, and it's just as many you can mount these small victories as possible, whether it's just getting your first major league win, just getting wins as a pitcher, getting that out in that inning. I think this team can get that moving forward. It's all about momentum.
They're a game behind the Royals right now.
Yep.
The Royals have lost 7 straight. A's have won 6 straight.
Yeah.
They find themselves just 2 games back in the loss column, even in the win column at 18. So that's pretty cool. Pretty good sign there.
Well, I do have a question to ask both of you about the Royals and the A's and where they're at right now. But I do want to say 6-game winning streak. Oakland has outscored their opponents 39-19 during the winning streak, batting .400 with runners in scoring position. I mean, we knew going into yesterday, SC was hitting like .410 with runners in scoring position. I found this from our good friend Sarah Langs on Twitter. Entering the streak, the A's had a 194 winning percentage. That's the third longest win streak by a team to enter with a sub 200 win percentage, minimum 25 games in the season, behind only the 1895 Louisville Colonials.
Wow.
They had a 192 winning percentage, and the 1885 Detroit Wolverines had a 190 winning percentage. The stuff that Sarah's able to find, by the way, is incredible.
Amazing, yeah.
But this is just, I mean, these teams, Louisville Colonials and Detroit Wolverines, Johnny, that's a little bit before your time, too.
I think it's Louisville Colonels, but yeah, I hear you. No, but I got you.
You're right. It is.
Louisville
Yes.
Colonels. But I'll say this. That goes back a ways, even before my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we ask Ken Korak about it? I think Ken might know. I mean, Ken was around when the airplane was invented, so that's what he said yesterday.
He got me. He got me on that one last night. Yeah.
So you mentioned about it. You mentioned how we're now tied with the Royals and wins in the standings and still behind in the loss column. A's are on pace for 43 wins. That's what I did the math. Hopefully the math's right. Royals on pace for 44.
Yep.
That's past the amazing Mets 42 and whatever the record was at 120. So right now, looking at where the Royals are with Bobby Witt Jr. and Edward Olivares and Vinny Pasquantino and a lot of their starting pitchers up like Brady Singer, and the A's don't have their guys like Soderstrom and Geloff. Which team isn't trending in the better direction right now, do you think?
Well, I may be biased, but I think the A's are trending in a better direction. They haven't brought up a lot of their young guys, and the veterans are starting to play good ball. I mean, look at Aledmus Diaz and look at Jace Peterson and then Seth Browns. The veterans are starting to come into their own. So it's pretty cool. That mixed with the younger players, I'd rather be the A's right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. Again, try not to be a homer here, but you look at what the Royals are doing, and it's they have that good blend of veteran presence and young players that are exciting, but it's just not meshing for whatever reason. And also a team that I think is in a similar position to the Royals, Cody, are the Tigers.
Yeah.
Also have a lot of their young prospects up, and it's just not firing for them in all cylinders. And then a division that they could win if you look at it.
I mean, let's see. I have the standings right here. Let me pull them up for a second. That division with the Twins leading, what is it? The Twins are 33-33. Then you got the Guardians, who are a game and a half back at 31-34. Detroit's 27-37. They're only 5 out, and the Royals are 15 out at 18-48.
Yeah, I mean, they lost 9 straight, and they're only 5 back, right?
Yeah.
So
it's who put, someone said it yesterday on Twitter. I believe it was, they looked at Baltimore. They're 41-24. They're 5 games out of the division. The Detroit's lost 9 in a row, and they're 27-37. They're 5 games out of the division.
Right. Wow.
It just shows you how good the AL East is, that the Rays are leading right now, and how bad the Central has been.
Yeah, the Red Sox would be right there amongst the league leaders in the Central, right?
Yep. Yeah, and that's one of the it's actually a good segue. We've been really good at segues the last few days and transitioning to different topics. I was looking at this, and I saw it on MLB Now, and we love MLB Now on this program. Tony loves BK and the show. BK, good friend of the program. But I was looking back at the 2022 playoff teams and some of the teams that are struggling. Now, you look at the Phillies. They're 32-34. They're 8 games back in the NL East, and they're 2 games back in the wild card. Okay, so not bad. They come here next to play the A's starting Friday. Don't forget Drone Show Friday, Hawaiian shirt giveaway on Father's Day on Saturday. Yes. Tickets, athletics.com.
You mean Sunday?
/tickets.
Sunday,
yeah. Did I say Saturday?
Yeah, Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. Athletics.com/tickets to get tickets for the Drone Show and to get the Hawaiian shirt. We have them. We'll maybe wear them tomorrow. The Hawaiian shirts. We got them early. So we'll wear them. I'm always going to rock Link Soul of our official clothing sponsor of Ace Cast.
Yep.
So you look at the Mariners, who I have the food bet with telling me that they would be a playoff team. I already lost the one from last year when I said no starter would go over 200 innings, and it didn't work out. Sandy Alcantara blew that away just by himself. Mariners are 32-33. They're 9 games out of first in the AL West, and they're 4.5 back in the wild card.
Okay.
Mets and the Guardians, 1.5 out in the Central, 5.5 out in the wild card. Padres struggling, but playing a little better. 9.5 out in the West behind the Diamondbacks, 2.5 back in the wild card. Mets, 31-35, 9 back in the NL East, 3 games back in the wild card. And finally, the Cardinals, who are really struggling with all their players. Wilson Contreras has now said he's lost his confidence. He's like 5 for his last 63 over his last 19 games. The big free agent acquisition to replace Yadier Molina. He hasn't been good. They're 27-39, 8.5 back in the NL Central, 7.5 back in the wild card. Out of all those teams, which team do you think has the best chance to get back to the postseason?
Man. Well, I know the Mets are in a bad place right now, but I don't really ever count them out. I really don't. But all those teams, I think the Phillies, honestly, haven't played their best ball yet either, and they got off to a very similar start last year. They're kind of trending where they were. They haven't got on that great run yet, but I think they have the pitching to kind of contend. So I think I look at I thought about the Mets. I look at the Phillies as being the team that I think is going to get there. You?
Who do you got, Ray?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Guardians simply because the Central is just so weak right now, and then they were a team that took advantage of that last season. It's not like the Central has changed much from past season to this current one. So I like their chances. They got a lot of good pitching. I think they just have to mesh together, and you have to trust in Francona and what he can do.
No question.
Well, I mean, when rookie manager of the year, the Guardians came out of nowhere last year. They were a great story. There's a lot of trade rumors around Shane Bieber now because, he has another year of control, or the Guardians going to try to rebuild for the future. They got a lot of young pitching prospects in their system. They can get they demand a ransom essentially for Shane Bieber. That's how good he's been. I like the Guardians pick. I'm going to go. I guess I got to stick with the food, but I'm taking the Mariners. I think the Mariners.
Okay.
I think the talent with J-Rod and the way Kalanick's been playing. I know he's struggled. He's came off as a hot start. Luis Castillo's still there. You got Bryce Miller pitched better last night for them. I just like their upside. I think Seattle can make a chance. I mean, they're only 4.5 back in the wild card.
The thing is, though, Commander, they're going to have to find a way offensively because I know, and we're almost 70 games in. It's not like we're 25, 30 games in, and they're going to have to figure something out offensively because as good as your pitching is, unless you get it together offensively, you're not going to make a run. But I do think they have the talent for sure, but they have a lot of guys struggling right now.
Yeah, they do. And their offense, I mean, Ty France isn't having the year that he did last year. You need him to step up. J-Rod's not having the same year. He's probably going to be in the home run derby. I'm waiting to see how the home run derby shakes out because it is in Seattle. But I think they're my pick. I don't want to say Guardians, so two of us agree. So we all picked a different team, which is great for the radio segment on Ace Cast.
Always like some difference. I have a question I'm going to pose you guys real quick. With this more balanced schedule, are we even going to see a realistic chance of 3 teams in a single division making the postseason? I don't think it's a good chance of that this year. 3 teams in the same division making the postseason, whether that's division leaders or 2 wild cards.
My prediction, don't say anything yet. My prediction I had Seattle, Texas, and Houston all making the postseason. Yeah, on my prediction.
Johnny's right. He also picked the Cardinals to go to the World Series. Just going to throw that out there. That's every day until Tony's back. But I think the AL East is going to have all the 4 playoff teams.
I think so.
Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays, and Orioles. They could be the one. Because no one from the Central, the AL West, Houston and Texas, maybe. I don't believe in the Angels. I never will, and that's all because my wife's an Angels fan. Just don't believe in the Angels. I don't think – although Ohtani shut us up yesterday. We all said he was done coming September. I had to eat crow and tell Johnny, hey, thanks. I'm never doubting you again. You called the win streak. You called the 2-3 out of 3. The only thing you've gotten wrong is the White Sox winning the Central. What's their soul? How many games out of the Central or the White Sox? There's only 4.5 out of first place. So it still could happen.
Yeah, the Cardinal prediction's not looking that great either. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, when you're 27-39, you have Arenado and Goldschmidt. And your pitching is just
amazing.
Jack Flaherty's on the mound tonight against the Giants. He's a guy that could be sought after by a team going into looking for playoff help at the bolster of their rotation going to the deadline, which is on August 1st. But coming up, Sammy Long's going to be joining us.
Sammy Long.
BP's done. The former opener. He can talk all about the opener, which is happening. That has to be the first question you ask him. But Sam Long is going to join us right here next on Ace Cast Live with Cody Elias, Johnny Doskow, and Ray Jensen as Ace Cast Live continues.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer, like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Well, no, Chris is in Hawaii right now, but we are here with Cody Elias, of course, and Ray Jensen, and Sammy Long, lefty Sammy Long. And Sammy, great to have you on A's Cast Live. How you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me, Dusky.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. And look, it's funny. We talk about, he wants me to ask you about the opener, so I got to go ask you about being you've done that with the Giants. You were the opener and closing back-to-back games with the A's. You've had a little bit of a taste of everything as a starting pitcher and everything. First of all, what do you think of the opener? Do you like the opener?
Overall, I think as a pitcher, you do your best to be ready in whatever position they ask you. And so as a reliever, you come in and you're done early that day. You come in and get your work in, and you have time to go get a full lift, and you kind of get ahead of things almost as an opener.
Yeah, and for you, like, you've done so much starting in your life that being an opener, do you prepare kind of the same way when you do opening game compared to when you start? Same routine?
Yeah, same routine as a start as I would if I was starting.
Yeah.
I kind of have it all listed out on my phone by time, when to stretch, when to warm up, when to go head over to the mound. So, I mean, coming out of the bullpen, you get into that routine. So when you're asked to open or start, you it's a little bit of an adjustment at first because you're not used to doing it, but it's easy to get.
Yeah, it's funny because you have been a starter and you've been a reliever. I know it's different preparation as far as studying the lineups and everything like that. How different is it preparing for a start compared to coming out of the bullpen?
I mean, it's a little bit taller of a mountain to climb, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You're asked to turn over the lineup a couple times, 2 or 3 times ideally. And, you might approach those at-bats a little differently than coming in later in the game where you're going to show them your best stuff because you're probably only going to see them one time. So it's just a little bit it's a different chess match, but I enjoy both. And, so the starting approach is more, try to show them as little as possible. Try to get them out with only a couple of pitches, fastball, changeup, or, and then show them something, give them a different look later on in the game.
Exactly. Whereas a bullpen guy, you're trying to get outs, whatever it takes to show all your stuff, right? You got to just try to get outs, right? It's a different mindset.
Yeah, you're coming in guns blazing, showing them your best stuff. You want swings and misses. You want early soft contact is always good no matter what. But, instead of, coming in and try to spot up a fastball down and away, you're gonna flip a curveball in there early and show them that, and, then try to blow a fastball up by them later.
We're in such a different time now compared to several years ago because, look, you went from the National League to the American League, and back in the day that would be a big adjustment. But now with this kind of balanced schedule, you're seeing pretty much all the teams. Was it an adjustment going from National League to American League for you?
A little bit. I talked to Aledmus Diaz about it a little bit, actually, where he he thinks teams are in the NL are still adjusting a little bit just because they had those rosters set up to work around the pitcher hitting for so long that now that it's gone away, they're still kind of adjusting those rosters into what the AL looks like, where there's a little more power. It's a little deeper lineup. So yeah, I mean, that's just something that I've had conversations about, and but I think overall I think it's good for the game.
Your curveball, you're not afraid to throw it on any count. You have so much confidence in that pitch, and then it's funny. You'll throw it back to back sometimes. You could triple up sometimes, but it's like it comes down to your fastball command. I get that, but your curveball. Can you talk about kind of how your curveball has evolved through the years?
Yeah, I think that's always been my pitch since I was a little kid. I wasn't allowed to throw it all the time, but I always loved to. It was my favorite pitch to practice throwing, and it was one of those things that came natural to me. The big, a big curveball. I grew up watching a lot of Barry Zito here in the Bay Area, and being from Sacramento, I saw a lefty pitcher with a big curveball. I wanted to be that guy. So I remember, messing around in recess, throwing tennis balls back and forth to classmates, and showing them my curveball, and they'd always be so impressed since a young age. So, but now, I mean, from then to now, it's changed a lot. It was always a pitch that I always needed to land for a strike. That's always been important in my game. And my first couple years in 21, especially, I think I threw that pitch around like 70 to 75 miles an hour. And I feel like it was a little too easy to pick up out of the hand. I've started throwing it a little harder, and kind of disguises it a little bit and makes that batter decide a little bit later whether or not they need to swing at it. I mean, it's a big pitch, so they don't usually like to swing at it. So you'll see more takes early in the count with it. And then I get 2 strikes on them, and I throw one, they feel like they need to swing at it at that point. And so, I mean, it's been such a useful pitch for me.
I always ask you this every time I interview you, because I know there are people that are watching you for the first time. And I know, look, I've talked about it on the air, the fact that outing in Sacramento, what that did for your confidence and how that kind of built. And look, it matters, because I think it built your confidence going to the big leagues that year. That 8 strikeout performance, the first eight batters he faced pitching in his hometown in Sacramento, he struck out all 8 batters. It was 8 in a row. I remember calling the game with JT Snow. You called 8 consecutive batters. You struck out in front of your friends and family with a lot of pressure on you. First time you've been in AAA. What was that like, and what did that do for your confidence?
I mean, that was a big test for me. You get to the AAA level, those guys, there's guys that have been in the big leagues. There's guys right on the cusp of making it to the big leagues, and proving that I can get those guys out. And on top of that, miss bats and put them away like I did that day. It was huge for my confidence and moving forward. And especially not, before that year, I pitched in low A. That was the highest level I had made it to. So that whole year, it was just more about proving to myself that I could compete with those guys.
And for those that don't know, Sammy was out of the game. He was going to be an EMT. He had kind of almost had peace with it. Almost had peace with the fact that that was it. You were going to be an EMT, and you're like, look, I had a great run, but it's not in the cards. I am not going to play big league baseball. It crushed you. But then there was something there that said, you know what? I got to give it another shot. I know there's more in me. I know I can do it. Can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, it was the first time in my life where baseball wasn't my main priority. And I learned a lot about myself. I feel like I learned a lot about life as well from my time away, and it kind of helped me reflect on the things that I felt like I could do a little bit more of on the baseball side. And so you don't want to move forward with thoughts in the back of your mind like maybe I could have given a little bit more, or maybe I could have done something differently. So instead of dealing with those thoughts the rest of my life, I just decided to give it another shot and go approach the game and approach my preparation a little bit differently.
How so? How did you approach it differently with your preparation?
I hit the gym. I was in the gym more. It was I ate. I got in the best shape as I possibly could, and I've worked on the mental side a lot. I think there was a little too much self-doubt before I got released in 2018, and my coming back into the game, I did my best not to worry about those things and control what what I could control. It's cliche, but it's true. That was huge for me, and so just kind of approaching with a whole new mindset and doing everything I could to get better, a little bit better each day. And those days started stacking on top of each other, and next thing you knew, I had another job in baseball. I was
confidence built, right?
Yeah, confidence was building. I had a good year in 19, my first year back with the White Sox that year, and I re-signed for 2020. Didn't play, and so I just kept working hard, kept my head down, and prepared as best I could for my next chance to take the mound. And that came in 21 when I showed up to big league camp with the Giants, and I was hungry, I was ready, and I was ready to show the world what I was capable of doing.
That's awesome. Hey, do you know anybody in that clubhouse, in the Rays clubhouse?
Yeah, there's a couple guys, Taylor Walls, Josh Lowe.
Okay.
I played with Josh. We were drafted the same year. We got sent to the Appalachian League together our first year, our first short season. And then Taylor Walls, I played with him in 17. Not any pitchers, though, surprisingly. Not any pitchers yet.
I'll say this,
it's Zach Littell's over there now, but I don't think
That's
he's
right.
here right
Zach
now.
Littell is right. So I compare you. Remember the first flight you're on? You didn't know anybody, okay? And
the A's?
Yeah, with the A's. When you and so I remember you sitting there listening to your music and everything. I watched you on the last flight. You know all the guys. It's such a different mindset, right? When you first come in, it's hard not to be, because you don't want to throw yourself on and be like, hey, I'm here, So you got to kind of let it organically.
Yeah.
The friendships
exactly
friendships organically come. So what is that? What is the clubhouse like? I know six wins in a row helps the clubhouse, but what is the clubhouse like?
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I think overall the group is really easy to fit in with. It's a younger group, and so it's easy to be yourself. We're winning right now. Even through the tough stretch, like it was easy to show up with the same mindset of expecting to win that day, even though it wasn't going our way. We all had that. And that's the tough thing about having a young group is like you gotta know that every day is a new day. You show up with the same mindset, expecting to win, and but I think we handled that great,
really well. And I want to say that because he brings up a great point, because in that clubhouse, people say, oh, it's such a different clubhouse now, they're winning. It is and it isn't. It seems like it's kind of the same as far as you guys believing in each other. The wins weren't happening before. Obviously, it's a more fun clubhouse when you're winning. Obviously, but I'm just saying,
no doubt,
it's not that different.
No. I mean, no. As competitors, you expect to win.
Yeah.
And I think that it was big to go through that rough patch and to see how we all reacted to it. And I was lucky enough to be around a lot of veterans in 21 with the Giants, Buster Posey, seeing how guys like that handle losses. And so I've had that, I guess, guidance for me. And so seeing how they handle it, and then, seeing how guys handled it when things weren't going our way, it was, it's the same thing. There wasn't anything different going on about it.
One more for you. Father's Day is coming up on Sunday. I know your dad has been just such a rock for you. Your mom has too, but you talk about your dad a little bit and his influence. He never pushed baseball on you, but he was there for you. Can you talk about his influence with you?
Yeah, he's been huge. Growing up, he was the most competitive guy I knew. He was a basketball player in high school and college, so baseball wasn't his forte. He didn't have too much knowledge on like the fundamentals of it, so he did everything he could to put me in the best position, put me in front of people that knew what they were talking about, and he was right there listening to them as well, so he would absorb the information. We'd go home and work on it together, and kind of just, it was a team effort for sure growing up. for my development, not only pitching but hitting and on the mental side as
Life
well.
stuff
So he's
as well,
huge.
yeah.
He's been huge. He's,
Awesome, man.
And but most importantly, the mental side of it. He's
which at this level is right. It's
he's
huge.
a tough. He's a tough guy, and
Yeah.
You got to be tough in this league to handle whatever's thrown at you.
No doubt. Hey, thanks for taking the time, man.
All right, Doskow.
Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. That was Sammy Long. We'll take a break. Come back with more on A's Cast after this.
This is Chris Towns, and there are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Link Soul, and you're going to love Link Soul. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Link Soul also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
Unbeatable mileage from Chevron with Techron unlocks all kinds of unbeatable trips. Like to family dinner the next town over, or to a family wedding the next town over, or even to a family reunion over the river and through the woods at Grandma's house. Any drive is worth it to see Grandma, especially when you can stop along the way for unbeatable cleaning power from Chevron with Techron. Your engine will be thanking you for making the trip. Download the Chevron app now and find unbeatable mileage near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together. Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today. What's the material? Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Series 2 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Innovation. It's at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Calling all kids. It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and under to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After cheering on your green and gold, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree. That's athletics.com/kidsfree.
We are right in the middle of major season on the PGA Tour. Hey, those guys are good, but it won't stop you from having a great golf outing at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Just a short drive south of fast-paced Silicon Valley, the 27 holes of championship golf will give you and your friends a full day of enjoyment. Plus, a great 19th hole experience awaits at the grill. Not only golf, but Cinnabar Hills is ready to provide a first-class experience for any event. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com, cinnabarhills.com.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, it's Johnny D with Brian Anderson, who does TV with the Tampa Bay Rays. And look, I talked with Andy Freed, too. It's like the Rays, with everything they've done, 13-0, 48-20, all that stuff, they still don't get the national respect. It's something, right? I mean, what do you have to do, right?
There's no doubt. Well, they started off the season 13-0, and everybody said, yeah, but you didn't play anybody.
Right.
You didn't. Well, okay, you play what's on your schedule. They were mauling these teams.
Right.
I mean, they were absolutely handing to them. And if you were close to the team, you realize the talent that was there. But here's the thing, not a lot of everyday household names. And so people look at the lineup up and down, and they look at the pitching staff, and they're like, we don't recognize a lot of these names. They can't be that good.
Right.
But they absolutely are. I mean, it's an incredible thing to be able to watch just how thick this team is. Rays have 11 different guys that have at least 7 home runs.
I know.
mean, think about that.
Crazy,
That's
man,
your starting 9 and a couple of guys coming off the bench. Same thing with the stolen bases. I mean, they spread the wealth all over the place, and it is a really talented team who right now, because of all that talk that you're talking about early in the season, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder.
Still, even at 48-20. That's a good sign. Now, I talked to Chris Prieto, who I call the piano man. I'll tell you about that later. I want you to start calling him the piano man.
He told me I was going to have a blast over here. Absolutely, yes.
Well, I was telling him that this team defensively, they're not. I mean, they're incredible, and I don't think that aspect is talked about enough. Right?
Listen, it's full of athletes.
Yeah.
They really value that attribute of being athletic, especially now with the no shift. You can't hide guys in the field anymore. Not that the Rays ever did, but they really value athleticism out in the field. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Having watched this team and sitting up in the booth and watch them prepare for games, when they go out and they do their pregame infield work, they do it at a higher level and more intensity than any other team I've seen out there. And I'm not. We were just talking about that not that long ago. We're over there at the cage. Their pregame infield work, they do it at game speed. They don't go through the motions and just hit some fungos, guys make some plays and throw it over to first base. They go after it at game speed. I've watched it from up there. I've noticed it. And then you say to yourself, well, you know what? That is why they are as good as they are defensively.
And it's a team that, I mean, I feel bad for Kevin Cash sometimes because who do you start? I mean, all those guys would start on most teams. So you have to mix and match sometimes. You have to get guys in guys are getting playing time consistently, but that's a tough task, right, to get a lineup together.
I don't envy Kevin Cash trying to put it together. You're right, because there are so many deserving guys. Again, 11 different guys with 7 home runs. There's going to be some really good players. You know what it does? It makes his bench really strong.
Right.
And the thing that you can make that work if there's communication. If you're talking to these guys, hey, listen, you're going to be – he said we've got 3 regulars, Randy Arozarena, Yandy Diaz, and Wander Franco. Those are our 3 regulars. Everybody else, it's going to be a mix and a match and maybe even a platoon type of situation. But everybody is aware of that. And there's constant communication and feedback. You know when you're going to be in the lineup. You're never caught by surprise. And there's buy-in. And that's what makes it work. The players have to buy in. If they don't, there's a little mutiny brewing behind the scenes in the clubhouse. That's not the case here.
Yeah.
The guys have bought into it. They realize how the Rays do things, and no one gets stale. No one sits for an extended period of time. You may be out of the lineup for 2 games, but you know you're going to be in there soon enough. You're not going to sit and get stale on the bench. And so he keeps them rotating. He keeps them moving. He keeps them, part of the game. And listen, they get it done, and it makes for a very deep team.
I was talking about Eflin, the fact that there's someday there's going to be a pitcher that gets more wins than walks. It's incredible. This guy had 8 wins and 9 walks. I know he walked back to back.
That's what the difference in the game was.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. The back-to-back walks and the A's took advantage of that. But you talk about McClanahan and Glasnow back now and Eflin. I mean, everybody talks about the starting pitching, but I want to know about the bullpen. How much faith do you have in this bullpen to do the job?
You know what? more than you might think, considering all of the obstacles that they've had to work their way through with the injuries. Pete Fairbanks a couple of different times being out.
Yeah.
Jason Adam getting his footing. You think about some of these other guys that have missed time coming out of that pen. But you get some guys back like Sean Armstrong. He's coming back. Andrew Kittredge, hopefully at some point, is able to get back. Other guys, have stepped up. It's one of those things that at the end of the day, you just feel that the Rays are going to make it work because they always do.
Yeah.
Even when there's a new cast of characters, they seem to be able to go out and get the best out of them. And, Jake Diekman.
Yeah.
Jake Diekman, when we saw him earlier in the year in Chicago, he was really having trouble with the strike zone. And he's the kind of guy, if you can keep him in and around the zone, he's going to be ridiculously effective because he's got awesome stuff. Well, that wasn't the case in Chicago, and we saw that. And like, he's kind of struggling with his command, and not running. Well, the Rays end up bringing him in, and all of a sudden he's become a guy again because they've gotten him mechanically back to on the fringes of the zone, just off with his stuff, and he has started to perform at a high level. So they seem to be able to do it year in and year out, even if it's a couple of new guys. So the confidence level in that pen for me, and I think for most fans, is always there.
I know Chirinos going today, and he's had all these guys have had a great attitude. Look, Bradley's been up and down a couple times, 22-year-old kid. I want to talk about him, but Chirinos, he went down when Bradley came up, and they come back with great attitude. It's just it's difficult. There's so much talent that guys are going to be up and down sometimes.
You make such a great point. I don't know sometimes how they do it, how they are able to keep guys engaged and keep them with the buy-in, but they do. And I think it all comes down to communication. And they've seen a lot of these guys that have been here for a few years in the organization even have seen that play out. They know, hey, yeah, I'm going down. They want me to work on this. I know I'm going to be back. I know I'm going to be a part of this in the future. May not be right now, but I've got to be able to go down there, perform, and earn my way back up. And they are able to do that. But it all comes down to the messaging and the communication and these players buying into what the Rays are doing. Because if they don't, it would crumble like a house of cards. And that hasn't been the case.
But maybe it says about the kid.
Yeah.
The man, Taj Bradley, because he maybe he sees how other people handle it, but this kid has handled it so well going up and down. And to me, that's from the outside. I don't know what's going on the inside, but from what I've seen on the outside, this is a pretty mature kid.
Well, this is what I will tell you. As impressed as I have been with his stuff, and he's got 4 really can be special pitches as he works his way into this game. The attribute that has stood out to me the most at 22 years old, his poise. His poise and his composure on the mound, and that kind of speaks to what you're talking about, that character and being able to see big picture. He doesn't get rattled. He's worried about performing when he's out there and when he's given the opportunity, but he handles himself like a man.
Yeah.
He's not a kid. He's not a boy. He's not 22. His poise and composure belie his age, and I think that has helped him on those couple of times that he's gone back and forth. Because the first time, I got to be honest with you, the first time that they sent him out, I was ticked. I'm like, this kid has come up and he's thrown the ball well for 3 straight starts. He does not deserve to go down. What kind of reward is that? I was really not too happy, understanding that there's bigger picture and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I was personally not real happy with that decision. I think he handled it probably better than I did. Right. And he comes right back up and performs at a high level. But his poise and he's just so much more mature than 22 years old.
He's impressive. One more for you. When the players go through that minor league system, the way the Rays develop pitching, there's nothing like it right in baseball right now. Can you kind of speak on that a little bit?
Listen, the Rays know what they're looking for. They know the formulas that work. They know what kind of pitch attributes that they can build off of. I'll give you one great example, Zach Eflin. So Zach Eflin had good, some success with Philadelphia, maybe some health issues, with different things that kept him from, a full season. But the Rays bring him in. They went right after him when free agency opened up. They made him like the number 1 target. We want you. We want to bring you in, and they got him. Well, as soon as they bring him in, they look at his pitch mix from the Philadelphia Phillies, and they basically told him, here's the thing. We love the 2-seamer, that late action to the arm side. We love that 2-seamer. And we really love the cutter because it gets ride and cut to the glove side. So those two pitches complement each other very well. He also threw a four-seamer that he does occasionally now, but he threw it at a much higher percent with Philadelphia. And so they basically told him, take the four-seamer and put it in your back pocket. And we want you to up the use of that cutter. His cutter usage went up from about 15% with Philadelphia to now over 30% with the Rays. And now you got the two-seamer and the cutter, arm side, glove side, that complement each other, the slow curve in the middle, and the occasional four-seamer at the top of the zone. And he has become the guy that, listen, yesterday was the shortest outing of the year for him. But overall, outside of yesterday, the Rays had won all but one of his starts, now all but two. And that's what he has brought to the table. But it's that they understand pitch mix. They understand complementary pitches. They see movements and carries and ride, and they know, hey, you come to us and we're going to maximize your strengths. We're going to minimize your weaknesses, and you're going to take your game to the next level. And we watch them do it year in and year out, and on top of the guys that are coming through the system.
Well, speaking of guys taking it to the next level, and I lied, I said one more, but McClanahan. I mean, look, this guy.
Pick your poison.
It's unreal, right?
Pick your poison.
Yeah.
That's why you see hitters going out and going after him early in the count. Why do you want to get to 2 strikes with Shane McClanahan?
Yeah.
Because he's got 4 wipeout pitches. He can climb the ladder with the four-seamer. We've seen him take the slider to your back leg if you're a righty, down and away to a lefty. The curveball with all the depth can get you, and his changeup. He's taken his changeup to the next level. And in fact, that's a pitch that was good for him last year. And this year he's throwing it, and he's getting 4 extra inches of the vertical drop. So there's more depth to the pitch.
How often is he throwing the changeup now?
It's become maybe right behind the four-seamer.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 2 breaking balls after that. But that fastball changeup combination. And it's interesting, too, because he throws his changeup. It's a split grip, but it's not a splitter. It's a split grip, but as he comes through, there's that pronation where the ball comes out and the ball spins as if you were throwing a circle change. But he does it right at the end of his fingers, and he's getting more drop with it. It pairs with that fastball well, and then the slider, the curveball, 4 different, 4 plus 2 elite pitches. Don't get to 2 strikes against him.
I'm telling you, some of these pitchers, I know when you're excited to see a pitcher, it's like Christmas Day, right? You're just like, I cannot wait to see him pitch, right?
Absolutely. No, and we get spoiled. We get spoiled because there's rarely a day that you don't feel that when you're covering the Rays.
Well, I'm glad the A's do not face McClanahan this series. That's good. So, hey,
good miss.
World Series champion, color analyst, Brian Anderson. Thanks,
awesome.
man.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having
it. Good
me, man.
to see you,
man.
man.
A lot of fun.
Yeah,
A lot of
pleasure.
fun.
Great energy, and we'll have more after this.
This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations. Like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together. Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today. What's the material? Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Innovation. It's at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Series 2 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
We are right in the middle of major season on the PGA Tour. Hey, those guys are good, but it won't stop you from having a great golf outing at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Just a short drive south of fast-paced Silicon Valley, the 27 holes of championship golf will give you and your friends a full day of enjoyment. Plus, a great 19th hole experience awaits at the grill. Not only golf, but Cinnabar Hills is ready to provide a first-class experience for any event. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com, cinnabarhills.com.
A's Cast Live continues from Rickey Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
No, not Chris Townsend. Cody Elias, Johnny D, Ray Jensen here with you for another about 10 minutes before we play. We're going to play in between the show today before A's Total Access, brought to you by
Chevron.
We're going to play the greatest A's playoff games that Vince Catrone has been putting together on Friday nights on A's Total Access, and then you'll hear Johnny D starting at 6 o'clock for A's Total Access. But we were just talking to another guy that's a legend around here. We've had jam-packed show with Chris Prieto. We've had Sam Long. We've had B.A. Brian Anderson on from the Rays. And then we were just talking to another fellow left-hander, Dallas Braden, who threw a perfect game. And I know it's Giants, but 11 years ago today, Matt Cain threw his perfect game against the then Astros, the Houston Astros.
With all due respect to Matt Cain, I'm a little more fond of Dallas Braden's perfect game. That's just how I feel. It's my favorite perfect game in history.
Who was the last out of that perfect game? Do you remember from yesterday?
I do. Gabe Kapler.
There you go.
And Cliff Pennington made the throw.
Know your Rays. Johnny D. I made
the adjustment.
Yes. Yep. What year was Ray Fosse drafted? If we want to do know year, I'm just kidding. That was the first question yesterday, too. The answer is 1965.
Yeah, well,
first draft.
Same year Rick Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last time the A's had 1-1. I think it's the only time the franchise ever had 1-1.
Yeah.
So last night we talked about a little bit. Then we had Chris Prieto come on, but Ken Waldachuk, first A's pitcher to toss through a more scoreless innings for a save in a one-run game since Elias Sosa. Even though it's spelled the same as my last name, I have to get it correct. Since 1978. I weirdly asked you where you were, Johnny, but what impressed you most about Waldachuk?
Well, look, I know that, and that's a great stat, but there are a lot of layers to it. This is a guy that has great stuff, and he has struggled to kind of find himself this year. And in the starting rotation, trouble with his command. Out of the bullpen, he had struggled to throw strikes. And just to watch his confidence, I think that we saw what will be a rise for Ken Waldachuk. Look, there was no way, and they saw it, and Kotze talked about it. You could see it in his eyes. He was hungry. And not that he hasn't been hungry the whole year, but he was getting confidence more and more confidence by the pitch. And to watch what he was able to do, and he's thrown all his pitches, his confidence in his changeup, slider and the four-seamer, like everything. He just had a lot of confidence. I love that outing, and I think it lifted the team, not just Waldichuk. I think that outing lifted the whole team because everybody was rooting for him in that dugout.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Johnny, with confidence. I think you look at where Waldichuk was last season when he came in through the trade with the Yankees, and he was aggressive early on. And I bet, especially that last game of the year, he was lights out on the mound. And I think we're finally starting to see that same guy again here in 2023. He just didn't seem to have that same energy at the start of the season, but boy, you said it, he was locked in. And especially to face this lineup, I was catching up with the Rays radio broadcasters on this series, Neil Solondz and Doug Wechter, and they were flabbergasted with what Waldichuk was offering last night.
Yeah. He looked great, 5 strikeouts. He had 4 swings and misses on the 4-seam fastball. He got up to 96. He was pumped up out there. It looked a little dicey in the first, 70 came in. Then it's got into a rhythm, and he mowed him down.
did.
And we're not talking about the Kansas City Royals who are not very good right now. They've lost 7 straight. We're talking about the best team in baseball, and he made them look silly out there.
He did, and he had confidence in that changeup, And look, he's thrown the changeup before in his outings, but this, when you have that fastball command, makes the changeup even that much better. He looked really good to me, and I'm just so happy to see it because he's a good guy, and the A's need him.
And Bip Roberts made a good point on A's Postgame Live on NBC Sports California last night with Brody Brazil that he was talking about how good Waldichuk looked, and then he went a little too far, in my opinion. He said, I haven't seen this happen since Raleigh Fingers. And it's like, okay, well, pump the brakes. Raleigh could be considered the greatest closer of all time. Well, Waldichuk's done it once. Let's see if he does it for multiple years.
I don't know if he meant it like that.
I know.
You're funny, but I do think that, he was impressive to a point where you could compare that particular outing to some of the greats. That particular outing.
Like the one guy the first person that always comes to mind if you're a left-hander and you pitch multiple innings for a save. First guy I think it was Josh Hader. Actually, I think Andrew Miller, then Josh Hader.
Yeah.
And I kept saying that's what AJ Puck's role would be. AJ Puck would be great as a closer or great as a long relief guy. He got moved from being a starter to a reliever. Then he got some chances to close. Didn't work out. Now he's closing games out in Miami. I think they found the role for him. What do you think the role ultimately would be for Ken? Is for Ken Waldichuk?
I don't think we know yet. I really don't. I don't think we know yet. He was born in 1998. He's 25 years old. We just don't know. Because the stuff is there. He may end up being a starter. He may end up being in somebody's or the A's bullpen or somebody's bullpen down the road. Whatever. Maybe I don't think he's a closer per se, but I do think. I think he'll probably end up being a starting pitcher down the road with the A's or someone down the road. I just think he's got the stuff for sure. He just can harness it. It's early. He's 25 years old, right? So he's got some time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Johnny. I think the possibilities are endless to what his role finally is when it's all said and done in his baseball career. But I'll say this. I find a lot of the best closers throughout baseball history usually start out as starters in their career, and eventually they transition to be excellent closers.
Yeah.
I think Waldichuk has that potential, but I know every pitcher wants to be a starting pitcher. And I think he has that moxie, but I was really impressed by the length he showed last night because his bullpen has needed it throughout this season. If he continued to put out long relief outings like that, it can do wonders for a team.
And especially last night when they needed it, right?
Yes.
Because the bullpen was spent. And look, hoping to get 6 or 7 out of Cap, you did. And hoping to get 3 from Waldichuk, you did, right? Everything that you wanted, because now you have a rested bullpen. Give him an extra day. It was huge in so many respects.
Safe to say Waldichuk unavailable tonight?
Short putt.
Call him up.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, but the bullpen should be well rested after what he was able to do last night. You're going to see again, I told Sam Long this. I've told you guys this. It's a dream for me, the opener. Both teams using the opener tonight.
You love the opener.
It's a big fan of the opener.
Yep.
We kind of moved away from it in baseball a little bit. Now it's coming back a little bit. We're using it. The Giants are still using it. The Rays are still using it. The team that championed the open, we championed Moneyball. The Rays championed the opener.
Yeah.
Starting with former Ray Sergio Romo all the way back in 2018. I'm excited to see it. You got Hogan Harris as the bulk guy after making it. He's been good since his demotion and can call back up as a 3 ERA in 15 innings. And you're going to see Yanni Chirinos pitch for the Rays, who's been the bulk guy forever.
Yes, he has.
It was either him or Ryan Yarborough, who's now in the Royals, as the guy that was always the bulk guy. And I like what Hogan Harris has shown so far as the bulk guy after the opener.
I'm excited to see Hogan Harris and see what he's got today. I think, look, if anybody can handle working after an opener, it's Hogan Harris. And, look, after that first outing, we talked about it, right? He had that outing and that inflated ERA. He couldn't wait to get back to just prove what he could do. And look, he figured some things out at AAA. I talked to Fran Reardon a little bit, and he figured out really how to be a little more aggressive in the zone. He got that confidence back in AAA. He came back up, and it was a different Hogan Harris.
Yeah, it really was. And Hogan Harris is an easy guy to root for. There's a lot of guys who fit that bill on this team, but especially with how his career in the majors started, which it could have doomed a lot of other pitchers and players to start that horrendously. But he took it in stride. He realized, hey, I can just go down, refresh, and come back up. And boy, did he ever do that, because he looked like a completely different pitcher.
I'm sorry, and I never said friend of the program, Fran Reardon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, first of all, that's correct.
Yes.
There's also there's another moniker for Fran. It's a leader of men, and Bills fan, Fran Reardon. A lot of trouble in Bills training camp. Right now.
I will be better. I'll just be better.
It's okay. Johnny, all you can do is get better each day. Remember that.
Exactly.
Hey, like I told you last night, I'm just here to help the ball club. As I mentioned earlier, with Hogan Harris, he's 2020 whole season canceled. Tommy John surgery the next year. He has 174 and 2/3 innings pitched in the minors and majors. So he's just getting used to being in a routine, and he's going to get these innings pitched. And it's great to see him bounce back from that horrendous start and have the 3 ERA over his last 15. So hopefully tonight we can see another strong effort as the bulk guy. And then maybe the next time around, there won't be an opener for him. He'll just start the game, which that's what you hope to see from him and every other starting pitcher in the A's rotation.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, thank you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we want to thank all of our guests we had on today. We had Chris Prieto, the first base coach, and your good friend, the piano man from the Sacramento River Cats back in your early days in Sacramento.
Right.
We had Sam Long.
Back in my late days in Sacramento.
Early, either way. 20 years ago, I was 14, so there we go.
No, but Sam,
you were 24
then,
right?
Sam Long was late in my.
Oh yeah. Sam Long, the A's, the former Giants opener, now A's Swiss Army knife essentially. He's pitching everywhere for the A's. And we had Brian Anderson, Rays television broadcaster. That's going to do it for A's Cast Live. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to at 4:00. We're going to Martin Gallegos to talk about the Brent Rooker ghost story at the hotel in Milwaukee. Johnny, you stayed there. It'll be good to hear about that. We're going to have Vince Cotroneo or efforting Jonah Bride or Kevin Smith tomorrow. We want to thank everyone for listening and watching A's Cast Live. If you're coming to the game, please take public transit if you can. We got a dual event over at the Oakland Arena for the K-pop concert. Not Suga. It's a different K-pop band, but, please take public transit if you can. Johnny's going to come up at 6 o'clock with A's Total Access, brought to you by
Chevron.
Thank you, guys.
Right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on A's Cast Live.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer, like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next